Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 6, entitled The Conversation between Srila Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. Text 31. Antarbahishcha lokam strin paryemyaskanditavrataha anugrahan mahavishnor avighatagati kvachit. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charana Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Srila Narad Muni continued, Since then, by the grace of the Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world and in the three divisions of the material world. This is because I am fixed in unbroken devotional service of the Lord. Purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there are three divisions of the material spheres, namely the Urdhva or the topmost planets, Madhyaloka or midway planets, and Adholoka or downward planets. Beyond the Urdhva planets, that is to say, above the Brahmaloka, are the material coverings of the universes, and above that is the spiritual sky, which is unlimited in expansion, containing unlimited self illuminated Vaikuntha planets inhabited by God Himself with His associates, who are all eternally liberated living entities. Sri Narad Muni could enter all these planets in both the material and spiritual spheres without restriction, as much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of His creation. In the material world, the living beings are influenced by the three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. But Sri Narad Muni is transcendental to all these material modes, and thus he can travel everywhere unrestricted. He is a liberated spaceman. The causeless mercy of Lord Vishnu is unparalleled, and such mercy is perceived by the devotees only by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, the devotees never fall down, but the materialists, that is, the fruitive workers and the speculative philosophers, do fall down, being forced by their respective modes of nature. The rishis, as above mentioned, cannot enter into the transcendental world like Narada. This fact is disclosed in the Narasimha Purana. Rishis like Marichi are authorities in fruitive work, and rishis like Sanaka and Sanatana are authorities in philosophical speculations. But Sri Narad Muni is the prime authority for transcendental devotional service of the Lord. All the great authorities in the devotional service of the Lord follow in the footsteps of Narad Muni in the order of the Narada Bhakti Sutra, and therefore all the devotees of the Lord are unhesitatingly qualified to enter into the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, in this chapter, we are seeing the conversation between Narad Muni and his disciple Vyasadeva. The chapter began with the question of Vyasadeva as to what did Narada, the boy in his past life, do after receiving transcendental knowledge from the Bhakti Vedantas. And Narad Muni began to reply by saying that he traveled northwards and he was not at all depressed upon understanding that his mother passed away because of snake bite, because he knew that that is the Lord's way to make him detached. So the transcendental knowledge will help one to perceive the happenings in one's life from a spiritual point of view, and one will not be disturbed even amidst the biggest calamities. And then Narad Muni traveled. I mean, he was not yet Narad Muni. He was a boy of 5 years old in his past life. He was traveling towards the northern direction, and then he actually sat down in meditation, and there he applied all the principles of meditation as per the instructions given by the pure devotees, the Bhakti Vedantas. And the boy was able to perceive the Lord within one's heart, within his heart. And he was immersed in transcendental joy upon perceiving the form of the Lord. And at that time, just when he was actually, uh, immersed in transcendental bliss upon seeing the Lord, all of a sudden the Lord disappeared from his vision and his meditation broke. And even after trying so many ways, again and again, he could not actually have the same vision of the Lord. And at that time, he heard the voice of the Lord saying that I have disappeared from your vision to increase your eagerness for me. And in this lifetime, you will not be able to see me once again. And then, saying this, the Lord instructed the boy Narada to engage in intense sadhana, intense devotional service. So, and then after that, we also saw how the boy Narada became more eager to achieve the association of the Lord. He started traveling everywhere and he started chanting the holy names of the Lord. And in this way, he was benefiting not only himself, but he was also benefiting anybody who came across him. They all heard the holy name from his mouth. They also became purified. And while he was traveling all over the world fearlessly in this way, completely depending on the Lord, his mind completely free from all kinds of material contaminations. He had attained perfection of bhakti just by the process of kirtanam or chanting of the holy names and glories of the Lord. And at such a state of consciousness, he met his death. So he gave up his body, and then he actually entered into the body of Lord Narayana at the time of the partial annihilation, along with Lord Brahma and other entities of the universe. He also entered into Lord Narayana's body. And in the next Kalpa, when Brahma again began his creation, this Narad Muni, who had actually attained a transcendental body, appeared from within the mind of Lord Brahma. So he became the Manasaputra of Lord Brahma. And in that state, uh, he, along with other rishis like Marichi, Angira, and Atri, he also appeared from the body of Lord Brahma. So, this was the thing that we had discussed in the previous session. In the previous session, we had discussed till, till here. Now, in today's verse that we read just now, the 31st verse, Narad Muni is continuing to describe what happened after that, after his appearance from the body of Lord Brahma. So he says, Antarbahishcha lokam streen paryemi askandita vrataha. Antaha means in the transcendental world, Bahihi means in the material world, Lokan means the planets, Treen means the three divisions of planets, upper, middle, and lower planets. Paryemi means I travel. Askandita Vrataha, unbroken vow. Anugrahat, by the causeless mercy of Mahavishnoho, of Mahavishnu, Karanodakashayi Vishnu. Avighata Gatihi. Avighata means without restriction. Gatihi means entrance. Kvachit means at any time. So he's saying that ever since then, ever since I got this form as Narad Muni, I was born as the son of Lord Brahma, I am able to travel without any restrictions in both the material and the spiritual worlds. And all this is possible because of the causeless mercy of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu is causelessly merciful upon me, but he is also pleased with me because of my unbroken devotional service. Because of my unbroken devotional service, I am fixed in his service, and by the grace of Lord Vishnu, I am traveling everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world, that is the spiritual world, and in the three divisions of the material world, upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. So, Narad Muni is talking about his position as a liberated soul. As we were discussing a few days ago, we are all conditioned by the body. Even though the soul is called Sarvagataha, the soul can travel anywhere, but the body is restricting the soul's independence in the material world. Since we have a particular kind of body, we have to live in a particular kind of environment. For example, our body is suitable for living on the earthly planet on the land, but we cannot go and live in the water because our lungs are not designed to respire using the uh, dissolved oxygen in water. Whereas a fish can very happily live within water. And the same fish cannot live on the land without water. So these are the kinds of limitations that the body imposes on the soul. And that is why our current state of existence is called conditional state of existence. We are conditioned to live in a certain atmosphere. We are conditioned by the three modes of material nature to think, act, feel, and will in a certain manner. Our food habits are conditioned by the three modes of material nature, and so on. Our choices in life, the kind of foodstuffs that we like, the kind of dressing habits, the kind of lifestyle habits that we all have, they're all heavily influenced by the three gunas, the three modes of material nature. Whereas a liberated soul like Narad Muni, he is completely free from the grip of the three modes of material nature. That is to say, he is completely free from the three gunas, and that is called as liberated state of existence. Therefore, unrestrictedly, he is able to travel anywhere and everywhere within both the material and the spiritual worlds. Now, that is a very special aspect of Narad Muni. Srila Prabhupada often called Narad Muni as a transcendental spaceman. He can travel at will anywhere in any part of this universe, in this material world, and also he can go to the spiritual world. So that is the state of, that is the empowerment which Narad Muni has got because of the blessings of the Supreme Lord Narayana. So anybody who actually renders undivided devotional service to the Lord, like Narad Muni. So we should remember that before Narad Muni got this special liberated state of existence, the kind of hardships that he went through in his past life, the kind of determination that he exhibited Even though he was just a 5 year old boy, upon losing his mother, he did not become sorry at all. He did not lament. Instead, he considered that to be a plan of the Lord. Now, this is very important. When one has unflinching faith in the Lord's ways, that is the meaning of surrendering to the Lord. Surrender to the Lord means whatever may happen, that is the will of the Lord. I will not give up my devotional service under any circumstance. I will go on with enthusiasm, patience, and determination. Like this, if we actually follow the instructions of the spiritual master with great determination, then we come to the stage of liberated state of existence. That is exactly what happened with Narad Muni, right? Even though he was just a 5 year old boy and his mother was the only solace for him, but still, when he lost his mother, he did not become sorry. He did not become depressed. He understood that this is the Lord's plan. And how was he able to give such a response? Because of his association with the devotees, because of the transcendental knowledge that he gained from the association of the Bhakti Vedantas. So just imagine the power of association with a pure devotee. साधु संग सर्व शास्त्र कहे लवमात्र साधु संग सर्व सिद्धि होए. Just a few moments of association with a pure devotee can actually give us the highest perfection. It can change, it can bring about a paradigm shift in us such that we become fully fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. So, Narad Muni's determination is remarkable, and that is why the Lord was extremely pleased by his endeavors to serve him, to carry out the instructions of the spiritual master. And that is why he was born in the next life as a liberated personality, as Narad Muni. And because of this, he was able to freely travel anywhere within the material and the spiritual worlds. Right? So, Prabhupada explains in the purport very interesting points. Let us see few of them. So Prabhupada says, in the material world, the living beings are influenced by the three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. But Sri Narad Muni is transcendental to all these material modes, and thus he can travel everywhere unrestricted. He is a liberated spaceman. See, many times when Narad Muni is depicted in movies and in various maybe TV serials or something, he is depicted in a very comical manner. His position is not actually picturized properly. The people think that Narad Muni is all about taking pleasure in making two people quarrel, two parties quarrel. That is what they think about Narad Muni, but that's not the real or the proper depiction of Narad Muni. We have to actually study scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam to understand how great a personality Narad Muni is. He did intense sadhana in his past life. He pleased the Supreme Lord, because of which he became a liberated soul, and he became a associate of the Lord. Freely he could travel even in the spiritual world, which is not accessible even to great yogis and rishis. Even great yogis and rishis cannot freely travel to the spiritual world, to the Vaikuntha. And but Narad Muni is able to freely go there and talk to the Lord. In the same Srimad Bhagavatam, there is another phrase used to describe Narad Muni. An adjective is used. Narad Muni is described as Deva Darshanaha in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Deva Darshanaha means he who constantly has the vision of the Supreme Lord. He is able to actually see the Lord face to face and talk to him and carry out his confidential instructions. So that is the position of Narad Muni. It's not true that Narad Muni is an ordinary person or he's a person who takes pleasure in making two parties quarrel. These are all not the authentic depictions of Narad Muni. It is a great blasphemy, it is a great insult to Narad Muni if one thinks like this. These are all material concepts. This is not the proper understanding. So Narad Muni is a Mahabhagavata, a pure devotee of the Lord, and he is completely liberated soul. Therefore, there is no tinge of passion or ignorance in him. He is completely absorbed in chanting of the holy names of the Lord. He travels unrestrictedly everywhere, and not only that, he carries out very, very special, instructions of the Supreme Lord. The many, many pastimes of the Lord, where Narad Muni plays a key role in all those pastimes, carrying out the will of the Supreme Lord. So, his and another important point that Prabhupada mentions in the purport is the causeless mercy of Lord Vishnu is unparalleled, and such mercy is perceived by the devotees only by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, the devotees never fall down, but the materialists, that is, the fruitive workers and the speculative philosophers, do fall down, being forced by their respective modes of nature. So, the Lord is ready to actually bestow unlimited mercy upon us, provided we are ready to accept that mercy. That is important. Lord is very merciful. He is ready to give all mercy to us. But are we ready to accept the mercy? If you see Narad Muni in his past life, when his mother passed away, he did not become disturbed at all. He knew that the Lord has a bigger plan for him. This is the meaning of surrendering to the Lord. So, because of this attitude of Narad Muni, complete devotional attitude, the Lord promoted him to that position as a transcendental, liberated associate of the Supreme Lord. So the Lord is ready to bestow His mercy upon us, provided we are ready to give up our material attachments. If we are always attached to our material possessions, our positions, and our little limited, attachments in this world, if we are clinging on to them, then we are actually missing out a bigger blessing, a bigger benediction that the Lord is ready to award to us. This is a very important thing. Srila Prabhupada tells us that we should actually follow certain do's and don'ts while executing devotional service. For example, the four regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. Now, these four are regulations. In the beginning, it appears to be restrictions. But when we actually understand why Srila Prabhupada is recommending us to follow these four regulative principles, we understand, we can appreciate that Prabhupada is actually interested to bring us to the mode of goodness. As long as we engage in these four activities, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex, we are entangled in the lower modes, the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. And what Srila Prabhupada wants is we come to the platform of Sattva Guna, because when we are situated in Sattva Guna, we are ready to accept transcendental knowledge and act upon it. As long as we are under the influence of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, we won't be able to appreciate transcendental knowledge. So knowledge begins in Sattva Guna. And these four sinful activities pulls our consciousness down. Therefore, Prabhupada says that we have to give up these four sinful activities. Right? Now, one of the four regulative principles is no intoxication. Now, intoxication refers to usage of intoxicants like smoking, cigarette, or tobacco, and drugs, and all of these things. And Srila Prabhupada adds coffee and tea also to this list of intoxicants, because coffee and tea also, they cloud our intelligence. Uh, they make us habituated to such things, and we feel, oh, without coffee and tea, how can I even live? It's not at all possible. We become addicted to these things. And as we know, these it contains caffeine, and the caffeine plays with the nervous system, with the brain and the nervous system of our body, and it creates certain effects. It actually clouds our intelligence. It makes us numb for a while, and which is actually not good. That's a state of intoxication. So why do people take intoxication? Because they think that I have a lot of miseries and problems in life, and I want to run away from these problems. And when I drink or when I smoke or when I take some intoxicant, it gives me some relief for time being. But actually, this relief is not based on knowledge. It is simply a kind of running away from the reality. That is not the way to solve the problems or miseries of life. So, coffee and tea also makes us addicted to them. So now we have to choose, should we be attached to Krishna, or should we be attached to coffee or tea or any other intoxicant? So we must become intelligent and make a choice. Anything of this world we become attached to, that becomes a kind of a bondage to this world, and that actually prevents us from attaining our real position of being an associate of the Lord. So, those who are devotees, those who are trying to practice Krishna consciousness, we have to day by day increase our attachment to Krishna and not to things like coffee or tea. That is a test. If you are really serious candidate in becoming Krishna conscious, in attaining spiritual realization, then we have to be ready to give up all such uh, so-called pleasurable things which actually keep us bound to this material existence. That is a test. So, following the four regulative principles, initially it may be very difficult, but if we actually chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra very nicely, attentively, if we chant the Hare Krishna mantra very nicely, we get the spiritual energy, and we can say no to any kinds of bad habits, any kind of activities uh, which earlier would be great pleasure giving activities will seem to be worthless once you attain a higher taste by the process of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Therefore, whatever may be our habits, however severe may be our addiction, we should simply go on chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we should hear the holy names very attentively. And by the process of this chanting and hearing, we will develop spiritual strength and higher taste. And by this, we can give up all our lower tastes and addictions, and we come to the sattva guna, and that sattva guna is very, very conducive for spiritual advancement. So, once we come to sattva guna and practice Krishna consciousness more intensely, then we can transcend even that sattva guna, and we can reach a transcendental position like Narad Muni, and we get admitted into the Lord's association. We become one of the associates of the Supreme Lord. That is the perfection of human life. So let's go to the next shloka, text 32. देवदत्तामिमां वीणां स्वरब्रह्मविभूषितां मूर्छयित्वा हरिकथां गायमानश्चराम्यहम्. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Narad Muni continued, and thus I travel constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. Purport: the musical stringed instrument called the veena, which was handed to Narada by Lord Sri Krishna, is described in the Linga Purana, and this is confirmed by Srila Jiva Goswami. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Sri Krishna and Narada, Lord Sri Krishna and Narada. because all of them are of the same transcendental category. Sound vibrated by the instrument cannot be material, and therefore the glories and pastimes which are broadcast by the instrument of Narada are also transcendental, without a tinge of material inebriety. The seven singing meters called Sa Shatja, Ra Rishabha, Ga Gandhara, Ma Madhyama, Pa Panchama, Dha Dhaivata, and Ni Nishada are all transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Narada Deva is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument, and thus he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories, and is therefore infallible in his exalted position. Following in the footsteps of Srila Narad Muni, a self-realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meters, namely sa, re, ga, ma, etc., in the service of the Lord by constantly singing the glories of the Lord as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So Narad Muni, now he's saying, what are his activities? What is his activity after getting liberated? Actually, the scriptures say that pure devotional service begins after liberation. Once we are free from the influence of the three gunas, once we attain a liberated state of existence, then we actually begin our pure devotional service to Krishna. As long as we are in the material world, we are fully under the influence of the three gunas. We are driven by our lust, anger, greed, etc. But when we become free from these influences, we come to the state of pure devotional service. So now we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now we are still in the conditioned state of existence. We are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. We are doing sadhana of chanting the holy names of the Lord. We are doing this right now for the purpose of our purification, so that we become free from the influence of the three gunas. Now, after we become free from the influence of the three gunas, after we become liberated, what is that we are going to do? After we go back to the spiritual world, what is that we are going to do? We are going to do the same thing. We are going to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra there also. We are going to glorify the Lord there also. But there we are going to do it in a pure consciousness. So, what we are doing now is like a training, it is like an apprentice training. And when we become perfect in this, we get admitted into the spiritual world and we continue to engage in our devotional service in our pure state of existence. Now we are glorifying the Lord, and after liberation also we shall continue to glorify the Lord. Now we are hearing about the Lord. After liberation also, we are going to continue to hear about the Lord. Now we are chanting His holy names. After liberation also, we shall chant the holy names. But the difference is now we are doing it for our purification. After liberation, when we do it, we will be doing it in a pure consciousness and we will be doing it for the pleasure of the Lord. So that's the difference between sadhana bhakti. Right now, we are doing sadhana bhakti, and after that, we are going to do Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. So, there is no difference between the activities that a devotee does either in the material world or in the spiritual world. He does the same thing. There is no difference. It's not that now we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra and after attaining perfection, we will be doing something else. No. After attaining perfection, also we shall continue to chant the holy names of the Lord and glorify Him, because that is the eternal occupation of the soul. That is the Sanatana Dharma of the soul. Sanatana Dharma means eternal occupation. What is the eternal occupation of the soul? The eternal occupation of the soul is to serve Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed this. Jiver Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadasa. Our eternal constitutional position is that we are eternal servants of Krishna. That is our original position. Now we have forgotten that, but when we come in touch with a bona fide spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada, he kindles this understanding. He engages us in activities of sadhana bhakti, which will help us to revive our original loving devotional service to Krishna. And that is the whole process of Krishna consciousness. So here Narad Muni is saying, Devadattam imam veenam. Imam Veenam, this Veena that I am having in my hand, Veena, a musical stringed instrument that Narad Muni plays. It is Devadattam. Deva here refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Datta means gifted by. This Veena that I am playing always, this Veena is given to me by Lord Krishna himself. Narad Muni is saying this to Vyasadeva. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that Jiva Goswami quotes from the Linga Purana and says that Lord Sri Krishna handed over the Veena to Narad Muni. So it is the same thing. Devadattam Imam Veenam. This Veena I was given by Lord Krishna himself. Swara Brahma Vibhushitam. And this Veena, it helps me. I am playing on this Veena, and what this Veena is decorated with, Vibhushita means decorated with Swara Brahma. Brahma means transcendental or spiritual. Swara means the singing meter. We all know we have 7 meters or 7 swaras, Sapta swaras. Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni. So these 7 swaras are constantly being vibrated by Narad Muni on his veena, which was gifted to him by Lord Sri Krishna himself. And he says, Murchayitva Harikatham. Murchayitva means vibrating. Harikatham means the transcendental message of Lord Krishna. Gayamanaha, singing constantly. Gayamanaha, constantly singing. Charami aham, I move about everywhere. Charami means to move, to travel. So Narad Muni is saying, this Veena was given to me by Lord Krishna, and this Veena is charged with transcendental sound because it is given by Krishna. It cannot be a material, ordinary musical instrument. It is a transcendental musical instrument. Anything connected with the Lord and his pure devotees cannot be material. It is all spiritual. So Krishna's flute is also transcendental. It is spiritual. And Krishna's ornaments are all spiritual. Krishna's qualities are all spiritual. Krishna's activities are spiritual. Everything connected with Krishna is spiritual. Krishna's devotees, liberated souls like Narad Muni, they are also fully spiritual, transcendental. And therefore, the veena that he plays, through which he glorifies the Supreme Lord, traveling everywhere, that is also transcendental. That is also all spiritual. So he says, I I keep traveling everywhere, constantly singing the transcendental message and glories of the Lord, and I play on this veena which is charged with transcendental sound. And this veena is given to me by Lord Krishna himself. So the point is, music is actually divine. We must have heard this. Many people say this. Music is divine. Why is music divine? Because originally the music actually was meant only for glorifying the divine, glorifying the Lord. That was the only purpose of the music. Now the music is used for personal sense enjoyment. The music is used to glorify ordinary people of this world. But this is not the real application of music. Everything that exists in the creation has got a Hari Sambandha. Everything has got a relationship with Krishna. And everything can attain perfection when it is used in the glorification of Hari, the glorification of Krishna. That is the perfection. So, Narad Muni was using his musical abilities given to him by the Lord for glorifying the Lord. Even now, he constantly plays everywhere and he travels all over the universe glorifying the Lord. So, uh, A pure devotee of the Lord, Prabhupada writes, as a pure devotee of the Lord, Sri Narada Deva is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument, and thus he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and is therefore infallible in his exalted position. Right? So, Narad Muni was given the Veena by the Lord. So Narad Muni is fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of Veena by playing the Veena and glorifying the Lord. This is very important point. So Narad Muni is thinking, this Veena was given to me by the Lord. It belongs to the Lord. Therefore, I should use it in his seva. That is the actual right thinking of a person, right? Similarly, we should also think in following in the footsteps of Narad Muni. We should also think this body Krishna has given me. The body belongs to Krishna. Therefore, I should use my body in his seva, not for my own personal enjoyment. When one thinks like this and when one acts like this, then he is called a pure devotee. Then he becomes liberated soul. So we have to constantly remind ourselves that whatever I have, including my body, my mind, my intelligence, my wealth, my possessions, my talents, my abilities, everything is given to me by Krishna. Nothing belongs to me. Therefore, I must engage all of these in Krishna's service. This is called Krishna consciousness. Nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to Krishna. Therefore, everything I should use in glorifying Krishna. Simple. This is a very simple. There is no hi-fi philosophy. Nothing belongs to me, everything Krishna has given to me. Therefore, I should use everything in his seva. Then I become spiritualized. Then I become liberated. As long as I think that I am this body belongs to me, all my wealth, my possessions, my abilities, talents are mine, and therefore I should use it for my own sense enjoyment. As long as I think like this, then I am bound by the laws of karma. Then I have to take birth again and again in this material world. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Again and again taking birth, again and again dying, again and again entering into another mother's womb. This is our story since time immemorial. Why we are having the same story again and again? Because we are thinking that I am this body. We are thinking that all these material possessions, everything belongs to me. Therefore, I should enjoy myself. This is called material conception or material consciousness. But Krishna consciousness means having the understanding every moment in our life that everything that I possess belongs to Krishna, therefore I should use in his service. This is called Krishna consciousness. Then when we lead our life like this, then we can go back to Krishna. We can go back to the spiritual world. We can escape the influence of Maya. We can escape the influence of the three gunas, and we can go to the spiritual world and become an eternal associate of the Lord and live there in the company of the Lord, uh, lead an eternal life full of knowledge and bliss. So that is the purpose of human life. Let's go to the next shloka, text 33. प्रगायतः स्ववीर्याणि तीर्थपद तीर्थपादप्रियश्रवाः आहूता इव मे शीघ्रं दर्शनं याति चेतसि. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Narad Muni continued, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to hear, at once appears on the seat of my heart, as if called for, as soon as I begin to chant his holy activities. Purport. The absolute personality of Godhead is not different from his transcendental name, form, pastimes, and the sound vibrations thereof. As soon as a pure devotee engages himself in the pure devotional service of hearing, chanting, and remembering the name, fame, and activities of the Lord, at once he becomes visible to the transcendental eyes of the pure devotee by reflecting himself on the mirror of the heart by spiritual television. Therefore, a pure devotee who is related with the Lord in loving transcendental service can experience the presence of the Lord at every moment. It is a natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. That is a natural instinct, and the Lord, being also an individual personality like others, is not an exception to this psychology, because psychological characteristics visible in the individual souls are but reflections of the same psychology in the absolute Lord. The only difference is that the Lord is the greatest personality of all and absolute in all his affairs. If, therefore, the Lord is attracted by the pure devotee's chanting of his glories, there is nothing astonishing. Since he is absolute, he can appear himself in the picture of his glorification, the two things being identical. Srila Narada chants the glorification of the Lord not for his personal benefit, but because the glorifications are identical with the Lord. Narad Muni penetrates into the presence of the Lord by the transcendental chanting. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So Narad Muni is now saying what happens to him when he chants the holy names vibrating on the veena. He says, Pragayataha, Gayataha means to sing, Pragayataha means to nicely sing, to completely glorify the Lord. Pragayataha, thus singing, Swaviryani, own activities, Tirthapadaha, the Lord, whose lotus feet are the source of all virtues or holiness. Lord Krishna is called Tirthapada because his lotus feet is the source of all tirthas. Tirtha means holy places. All places become holy because of the presence of the Lord's lotus feet there. Something connected with the lotus feet of the Lord makes a place holy. For example, there are so many holy places on the banks of river Ganga, and all these places are accepted to be places of pilgrimage. Why? Because the Ganga water has emanated from the lotus feet of Krishna or Vishnu. Therefore, the entire uh, stretch of land where Ganga river flows is considered holy because it has got a connection with the lotus feet of Krishna. So, like that, where the Lord's lotus feet are the source of all goodness, all virtues, and all holiness. Therefore, the Lord is called Tirthapada. Tirtha means holy place, Pada means the feet of the Lord. Another meaning of Tirthapada is all the holy places are at the lotus feet of Krishna. All the holy places are present at the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the meaning. So he is called Tirthapada. Priyashravaha. He is known as Priyashravaha, means all his activities are pleasing to hear. They are very pleasing to hear. Therefore, he is called Priyashravaha. Ahutaha, Ahutaha, called for. Iva me Shighram. Shighram means very soon. As soon as I start chanting the Lord's holy names, who is actually Tirthapada, and which is very pleasing to hear, the Lord Ahuta, as if I am calling for him, Shi Ivame Shighram Darshanam Yati Chetasi. Shighram, very soon, Darshanam, sight, he gives me his vision. Yati, he appears in front of me, where Chetasi, on the seat of my heart. So Narad Muni is saying, as soon as I begin to chant his holy activities, glorifying him, the Lord at once appears on the seat of my heart. So that is the power of Narad Muni's chanting. A pure devotee's chanting is very, very powerful because immediately, as soon as the pure devotee chants, because he's situated on a completely spiritual platform, free from all material contaminations, immediately the Lord appears within the heart of such a pure devotee. This is very important. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, based on the scriptures, that our chanting progressively goes through three stages. The first stage is called Nama Aparadha stage, the stage where we chant the holy names but with offenses. The second stage, when we continue to chant, our offenses will go away. Then we come to the second stage called Nama Bhasa. Nama Bhasa means offense clearing stage, the stage where almost all our offenses have gone. That is called Nama Bhasa. And when we continue to further chant, we come to the third stage called Shuddha Nama. Shuddha Nama means pure chanting. So when a pure devotee chants the holy name, the Lord is directly present there because the Lord is attracted by the chanting of his pure devotees. Srila Prabhupada mentions this in the purport. Just like it is a human psychology, if somebody calls out your name and he glorifies you, won't you feel happy? You feel very happy, isn't it? Oh, somebody's calling out my name. And that too, he's calling out with so much love and affection. We feel so good. Now, where did we get this kind of a instinct of feeling good when somebody calls out our name? Where did we get this? We got it from the Lord. Lord is the source of everything. Since we are part and parcel of the Lord, actually, we have inherited the Lord's qualities, right? So the Lord has got this instinct that anybody who calls out for Him with love and devotion, He becomes at once very, very pleased. That is the instinct of the Lord. And uh, the Lord becomes even more pleased when a pure devotee chants His holy name. Because pure devotee is full of love for the Lord in his heart. He has full love and surrender to the Lord. So the Lord is captured, enamored by the call of his pure devotees. In fact, Lord Krishna himself tells Narad Muni, he says, Naham tishtami vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti madbhaktaha tatra tishtami narada. He says, O Narada, you may find me in Vaikuntha or not. You may find me in the heart of a meditating yogi, or you may not find there. But definitely you can find me in that place where my pure devotees are chanting and glorifying my holy names. That means wherever the Lord's holy names are chanted, the Lord at once appears there. That's the whole point. And in fact, the Lord feels so good when his holy names are chanted, called out. There is one such instance in the Mahabharata, in the episode of Draupadi Vastrapaharana, when Draupadi was being humiliated in front of the entire assembly on the order of the crooked, evil Duryodhana. His younger brother Dushasana was pulling the sari of Draupadi in front of the entire assembly, and the Pandavas were also watching it helplessly. So Draupadi initially tried to protect herself by appealing to the elderly members in the family in the assembly. But when all that attempts failed, when she understood that none of these people can save me, and even I cannot save myself, at that time, Draupadi, she gave up all her shame and she raised both her hands up in the air and she called out loudly, Govinda! Like that, she called out. And at that time, Krishna was in Dwaraka and Krishna could hear the call of Draupadi. And there, Lord Krishna feels, he says, now I feel myself indebted to Draupadi because she has called me out of so much affection in a state of helplessness. I feel myself indebted to Draupadi. So at once I should go and help Draupadi. And as we know, Krishna, he does not appear there personally, but he supplies unlimited cloth, sari, to Draupadi, and he protects the honor of Draupadi. That is why Krishna is called Draupadi Mana Rakshaka. He protected the honor of Draupadi. So just by chanting the holy name, one can attract the attention of the Lord. But for such chanting to attract the Lord's attention, it has to be pure. It has to be pure. It has to be without offenses. It has to be without uh, expectation of name, fame, adoration, etc. It has to be pure. It has to be completely pure. Only then Krishna reciprocates immediately. In fact, it is explained by Srila Prabhupada that as soon as one chants the holy name of the Lord, even a beginner, a neophyte devotee, when he begins to chant the holy name, the Lord personally appears on the tongue of that devotee. He dances on the tongue of the devotees who are chanting his holy names. And if one hears the holy name attentively after chanting, then the Lord enters through the channel of the ear. He enters to our heart and he actually uh, cleanses all the impurities of the heart, of the consciousness. And the Lord uh, remains in our heart. He makes our heart as his place of residence if we chant with quality, with love and devotion. So, therefore, we must all try our best to chant attentively. Chanting should be, uh, done with so much love and affection. If we don't have love and affection, of course, we don't have now in our current state, but at least we must have the understanding that there is no difference between the Lord and His holy name. Hmm? Nama Chintamani Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvam Nama Naminaha. It is mentioned in the Padma Purana that there is no difference between the Lord and His holy name. So when we chant the holy name, the Lord is present. Right there, we are getting association of the Lord. So chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is like calling the Lord, and the Lord comes, hearing your call. Now, if you don't receive Him well, then it is offensive. Just like you invite a guest to your house, and the guest obliges to your request and he comes to your house. And after he comes, if you don't pay attention to the guest, then it is actually insulting that person, isn't it? In the same way, we chant Hare Krishna mantra, but we are busy thinking about so many other things. We are busy doing so many other activities. If we are not paying attention to hearing the holy name, that is called offensive chanting. So we should not chant offensively. Even if one chants for millions of lifetimes offensively, that will not attract the Lord's attention. So we have to chant with attention, without offenses. Right? That's the first thing that we should always keep in mind. While chanting, no other activity. While chanting, it is my personal time with Krishna, and I have to spend time with Krishna by hearing nicely. Effective hearing means proper association with Krishna. So we have to hear what we chant: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have to pay attention and hear each word of the mantra attentively. Our mind should not go there and here while chanting. The mind should be fixed. The mind should be locked to the spiritual sound vibration of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So Here it is said, as soon as Narad Muni begins to chant, the Lord personally appears within his mind and he feels very blissful that the Lord is come to hear his chanting, to hear his singing. So that is the perfection of one's life, isn't it? If the Lord personally comes to hear our chanting, to hear our glorification, so then we have attained the highest perfection. So each one of us can actually attain this highest perfection of uh, attracting the Lord's attention if we sincerely chant offenselessly and attentively. So we will continue to read in the next session what further Narad Muni tells, and we will see how it all leads to uh, Srila Vyasadeva writing the Srimad Bhagavatam. So before we close, anyone has any comments or any questions? I saw one comment during the class. Let me read that. Siddharth Sarkar. Liberating take home message of this session. Nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to Krishna. Yes, wonderful, very nice. Very nicely captured. Thank you, Siddharth. Manoranjan is asking this question. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Manoranjan. Could you clarify me well about Nama Aparadha? Yes, Nama Aparadha means offensive chanting. There are 10 offenses that we have to avoid uh, against chanting the holy names of the Lord. This is mentioned in the Padma Purana. They are listed in the Padma Purana. 10 offenses which actually uh, keep us away from attaining the highest perfection of attaining pure love for Krishna. Aparadha, Radha means pleasure, that which gives pleasure to the Lord. That is Radha. Apa means that which takes away. Our devotional service is supposed to actually give pleasure to the Lord. But there are certain things which takes away that pleasure from the Lord, and such things are called offenses or aparadha. So there are uh, seva aparadha, the aparadhas, offenses to be avoided while engaging in service of the Lord, the deity, and there are Vaishnava aparadhas, the offenses to be avoided against while dealing with the devotees of the Lord. There are Dhama aparadhas. When we visit the Dham of the Lord, there are certain don'ts that we are supposed to avoid. And similarly, there are Nama aparadhas, 10 offenses to be avoided against chanting the holy names of the Lord. What are those 10 offenses? The first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. We should not offend a devotee who is engaged in serving the Lord. The second offense is to consider the names of the devatas like Brahma or Shiva to be equal to or independent of the holy name of Lord Vishnu. The scriptures say that Krishna or Vishnu is the supreme Lord, and therefore nothing can be compared to his holy name. Even the names of devatas cannot be equated with the names of Lord Vishnu. If one does so, it is an offense. And third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master and to consider him an ordinary person. If one thinks that the Guru is an ordinary person or disobeys his instructions, that also is an offense against the holy name. The fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Shruti Shastra Nindana. One should not actually talk ill about the scriptures which reveal to us about the Lord. One should not think, oh, these are all some imaginary fiction, these are all some fairy tales. Pata nahi whether it really happened or not. Now, these kind of derogatory remarks one should not pass against the scriptures. Then the fifth offense is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. There are glories of chanting Hare Krishna. For example, it is mentioned that simply by chanting once purely, one can counter all the sins that one has performed in millions of lifetimes. Such statements are there in the scriptures. One should not think that these are all simply imaginary. That is also an offense. The sixth offense is to give some mundane interpretation of the holy name of the Lord. To give our own explanation of the holy name of Krishna, that is an offense. One should always accept the standard explanation given by the acharyas who come in the parampara system. The seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. We think that, oh, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, anyway, it will counter all my sins. Therefore, I will continue to commit sinful activities and I will continue to chant Hare Krishna. No, this is uh, very bad. That means it is like using the holy name. The mood is not serving the holy name, but it is like using. I will do sin and I will chant. In that way, it will get countered. No, this is a very offensive mentality. This has to be avoided. Eighth offense is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. One should not think that this chanting Hare Krishna is one karma kanda ritual which is meant to accumulate punya, which is performed to accumulate some material pious credits. No, the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is done for our purification, for the pleasure of the Lord. That should be the mood. Not that by chanting I will accumulate punya. That should not be the idea of a nama sadhaka. And then the ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. One who is faithless means even after hearing so much about Krishna, about the chanting, still he is not able to develop sufficient faith. Such a person is called a faithless person. And to such a faithless person, one should not describe about the glories of the holy name. Oh, the holy name is so powerful, the holy name, like this kind of glories we should not describe. Of course, we should inspire him to chant Hare Krishna mantra. That is okay. But glories we should not describe. That's an offense. And the tenth offense is to not have complete faith in the process of chanting and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this subject matter. It is also offensive to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must carefully guard himself against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, which is Krishna Prema. So, if one wants to attain Krishna Prema, which is actually the fruit of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, one must avoid all these 10 offenses. So, these are called Nama Aparadhas. Okay, somebody has raised their hand. Yes, Lata
Uh,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, this is Guru Prasad here. Uh,
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, what is the method where we can easily increase the faith that Krishna is hearing our chanting? Whenever we are chanting, how do we easily develop a faith that yes, whenever we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna is hearing to our chanting?
Krishna is present in our heart as Paramatma. Krishna is always witnessing all our activities. Whether you are doing an activity secretly, such that nobody in this world should know, but you cannot escape Krishna's vision. Krishna is always watching over us. That is first point. Second point is the holy name of the Lord is not different from Krishna. The holy name is also a person, same as Krishna. So, person is not senseless. Person has seeing ability, person has hearing ability, person has feelings. So, you are dealing with a person who is very sensitive, who has got all feelings, who is able to reciprocate with your feelings. So, when you are chanting Hare Krishna, you are actually dealing with the person, Nama Prabhu, the holy name of the Lord, not different from Krishna. So, therefore, when I'm dealing with a person, I should be very, very careful not to offend him. I have invited him and he has accepted my invitation and he has come. Therefore, I have to be very careful to give him a good reception. This we have to remember always. Then our chanting will be first class. Oh, Krishna, I'm directly talking to Krishna. I'm directly speaking to Krishna. Krishna is present when I chant. Therefore, I should be very, very careful. Suppose if Krishna comes in front of your eyes, gives you darshan, will you take it for granted? Will you not give him the best possible reception? Isn't it? Now, the same Krishna is present instead of Rupa, he is present in the form of Shabda. Instead of the form of Rupa, he is present on our tongue when we chant in the form of Shabda. The same Krishna, no difference. So we should be very careful. We should be very, very respectful. Same Krishna has come. For my sake, he has come in this Nama Avatara. Kali Kale Krishna Nama Rupa Avatar. In Kali Yuga, Krishna has taken incarnation in the form of Nama, Shabda. So I have to be very, very careful. I have to please him. I should not do something which will displease him. I have to pay full attention to him. He has come for my sake, and he is very happily, he is very mercifully extending his association to me so that I become Uddhara, I become liberated, I become pure. So he is coming out of his mercy. Shouldn't I receive him also with equal honor, respect? So when we have these points in mind, we will do very good japa. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, Prabhu, very much. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It will help in
Hare
our
Krishna.
sadhana. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. We shall meet again in the next session. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.